asked them, they gave me the wrong one. You're looking at the other.
You guys down up there? Yeah, I'm not going.
You're all set up. Oh, that.
Good evening, folks. Good evening. We're going to start in 1 minute, so feel free to grab a seat or stand if you like. We have more chairs back here. If folks want to grab chairs, that's fine as well. And there's plenty of seating up in the balcony area as well. You go up one flight of stairs, there's more seating if you want to sit up there as well. We're going to connect to Zoom in 1 minute, so people can just bear with us if there's any people on Zoom. Just a few reminders, folks. If you have an electronic device or a cell phone, if you could just put it on vibrate or silent so it doesn't disrupt the meeting, it'd be appreciated. All right, folks, welcome to the City of Lowell Zoning Board of Appeals public hearing for January 12th. You can join virtually and by calling in as well with planning with DPD ahead of schedule. Again, how this is going to work, folks, if you are speaking tonight for a petition, come up to the lectern, say your name and address for the record. The public portion is if you're speaking against or for a petition, again, come to the lectern when that section is called. State your name and address, and just whatever comments you have. And then, just for the sake of time, if you can keep comments to about 3 minutes, 4 minutes, that'd be appreciated. Again, please refrain from yelling or going back and forth with people. All right, going on continued business. We're going to take one item out of order here. ZBA-2025-50. The petition is a special permit. The applicant is 22 Old Canal Drive, LLC. The Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing to interested persons relative to a petition by 22 Old Canal Drive, LLC, to operate an adult health care center at the previously mentioned address. The subject property is located in the light industrial LI zoning district. The proposal requires special permit approval per Article 12.3 for the proposed use and for any other relief required in the Lowell zoning ordinance. All right, we got communication that they are requesting withdrawal. Anyone here for 22 Old Canal Drive? All right. See none. All right. All right. Can we have a motion to withdraw, please?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for ZBA 2025-50 for 22 Old Canal Drive to be withdrawn without prejudice.
All right. Motion by Mr. McCarthy to withdraw.
Second.
Second, Mr. Procope. Can we have a roll call, please?
Chairman Peck.
Withdrawal without prejudice.
Member Callahan.
Approve withdrawal without prejudice.
Member McCarthy.
Approve withdrawal.
Member Briere.
Approval.
Member Procope.
Approval.
Member Shanahan.
Approve.
Member Hovey.
Approve.
All right, that matter's been withdrawn. All right, moving on to ZBA-2025-41. The petition is a special permit and a variance. The applicant is Tuan Pham. Property located at 12 Wood Street. The Lowell Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing to all interested persons relative to an application by the applicant to operate a microblading business with the associated cosmetic work in the existing salon at 12 Wood Street. The subject property is located in the Regional Retail RR zoning district. The proposal requires special permit approval per Article 12.4 to operate a body art establishment. Variance relief per Section 7.3.1 for the distance from a school and an existing microblading facility and any other required in the Lowell zoning ordinance. Anyone here, is the applicant here for 12 Wood Street?
Put it to the end.
All right, we're gonna table this because it might be
They were late last time, I think.
running behind. So, my colleagues, if you don't mind, we'll table that one to last on the agenda.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to new business, we have ZBA-2025-53. Petition is a variance. Applicant is Sok Lok Hong. Property located at 104 Mariposa Ave. The Lowell Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing to persons relative to an application by the applicant to split the existing lot and construct a new single-family home at 104 Mariposa Ave. The subject property is located in the suburban neighborhood single-family SSF zoning district. The proposal requires a variance per Section 5.1 for relief from the minimum lot size, minimum lot area per dwelling unit, and minimum frontage and any other required Lowell zoning ordinance. Good evening, Counselor.
Good evening, Attorney Catherine Flood, Flood Law Office, here on behalf of Solak Hong, pertaining to property at 104 Mariposa Street. The applicant is seeking a variance approval pursuant to Section 5.1 of the City of Lowell Ordinance for relief from minimum lot size, minimum lot area per dwelling unit, and minimum frontage. The property is located in an SSF zoning district. The subject property currently consists of a single-family home on 17,300 square feet of land. The applicant proposes to subdivide an existing lot to create two separate lots, identified as Lot 1 and Lot 2 on the plan submitted with the application. Lot 1 will consist of 10,000 square feet and will comply with all the zoning requirements of an SSF zone. Lot 2 will consist of 7,300 square feet with 73 feet of frontage, for which we seek the variance approval. Pursuant to Section 5.1, the minimum lot size for a single-family home in an SSF is 10,000 square feet and minimum frontage is 90. The subdivision will allow the applicant to construct a single-family home on Lot 2. The single-family home will consist of 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms with a garage under. The relief the applicant is requested can be granted without substantial detriment to the public good. If you look at the review of the City of Lowell assessors records, you can see that most of the lots on Mariposa Street are of similar size, some smaller, some larger. I submitted all that information with my narrative in the application. Further, a review of the record title, the property indicates that the lots were formed back in 1898, and the lots on the plan were all 5,000 square feet of land with 50 feet of frontage. Based on the above, due to the size, shape of Lot 2, the applicant does have a hardship to support the request for a variance. The approval will provide a benefit for the City of Lowell by creating a lot for construction of a single-family home, resulting in additional taxes, and will enhance the neighborhood and is consistent with Lowell Forward. Since the size of Lot 2 is consistent with the surrounding neighborhood, the desired relief can be granted without detriment to the public good. My client reached out to several people that were on the abutters list, and I have support of 10 out of 13 of the abutters on the list. We will have to also appear before the planning board for definitive subdivision approval. May I approach?
Yeah.
I will let Matt take over now and describe the site plan.
Thank you, Counselor. Good evening, Mr. Hammer.
Good evening, Chair, members of the board. For the record, Matt Hammer, Lamplex Engineering, 60 Fletcher Street, Lowell, Mass. So here is Mariposa Avenue here. This is the property here, which is 273 feet in length and the width is 100 feet. The proposal is to subdivide the property of the existing dwelling into a 10,000 square foot lot, leaving the driveway that provides the access to the dwelling that can accommodate 2 parking spaces, as well as leaving the vegetation in the driveway that's currently servicing the other side of the house will be removed and revegetated, and that's notated on the plan. The proposed lot is 73 by 100 feet. The proposed dwelling is 27 feet by 36 feet. I have plans with me as well for that dwelling. That dwelling will be serviced with a curb cut that's 14 feet wide. That'll provide a parking space outside of the garage, and then there'll be a parking space within the garage itself. There's drainage for the impervious surface, which is an infiltration trench along the driveway, as well as a subsurface infiltration system in the rear of the property. There's also a proposed shade tree located here on the lot as well. And there was a comment in the comments from the municipal review where they wanted some detail on the sewer connection and the water connection, and we most certainly would provide that to the stormwater team at the time of permitting. I can leave it to Ms. Flood.
Thank you, Ms. Hammer. Councilor, do you have anything else you want to? Okay.
Not at this moment.
Okay. All right, we'll open up the hearing to the public. Anyone wish to speak in opposition to this petition? Good evening, ma'am.
Hi. Hello, my name is Alicia Payette, and I live at 84 Mariposa Avenue. The proposed lot to be subdivided is directly next door to me. The application claims that the surrounding homes on Mariposa are located on lots of similar size. I believe this is misleading. I'm not sure if you have the documentation that they handed in, but if you want to refer to this map, it might be what's up there. I don't know. I'll address each of the smaller lots that they referenced in their argument. The lot at 111 Rockingham does not have a home built on it, and it's owned by the same person who owns the adjacent lot at 107 Rockingham. When viewed as one combined lot, it equals 12,500 square feet with one home on it. This more than meets the zoning requirements of this area. 101 Rockingham is 200 square feet larger, and the home on it is 1 story shorter than the new home that they're proposing. So it's a larger lot with a smaller home on it than what they're proposing to add. The remaining 2 lots were the only ones referenced in their argument that are smaller than the new proposed lot and also have homes built on them. The lot at 121 Mariposa borders Mount Pleasant Golf Course, so although it is smaller than what is allowed, it borders a very wide open space and does not feel meaningfully undersized. 112 Mariposa is the smallest of all the lots on the list, 50% smaller than the minimum requirement, but it already existed. It's already there. It's also directly next door to the new proposed lot that would be 27% smaller than the minimum lot size requirement. This would create a huge amount of density in a very concentrated area. But to zoom out a little bit, all of the homes built on the lots referenced here were built before 1965, roughly 40 years before our current zoning rules were put in place in the early 2000s, which we verified with Lowell Development Services, and those rules were put in place 20 years ago. So all of the homes referenced here have been here for more than 60 years. Also, according to the records that we could find, the proposed home is larger than every comparable home on this list by at least 200 square feet and up to 700 square feet. Approving these variances would allow the largest home on the smallest lot in this neighborhood to be built. I also want to reference the plan of land in Lowell, Mass. Belonging to the heirs of M.C. Pratt from May 1898, which was included in their argument as well. It was included to justify undersized parcels of land as small as 5,000 square feet, half of what is currently allowed. In reality, only one home in this neighborhood is built on a lot that aligns with this specific map. All others contain multiple contiguous lots or sections of lots. Since the current layout of the neighborhood does not adhere to this plan, we should instead be following the current zoning rules put in place in the early 2000s, more than 100 years after this map was created. The applicant is claiming a hardship based on the size and shape of the lot, but there's nothing argued about the land's physical limitations. A small lot size is not a unique property condition. A hardship is not personal or financial and should not be granted based on inconvenience or the owner wanting to turn a profit. Also, the variance supplement that has been signed under the penalty of perjury by Suklar Hong as the owner of the property. If he is indeed the current owner now, he would have purchased this lot knowing variances were needed, and that would be considered a self-created hardship and does not justify variances. We disagree with the applicant's claim that this will enhance the neighborhood. Again, looking at this map, the density is fairly balanced now with a lot of open space. There's 4 houses on, it's upside down. There's 4 houses on this side of Rockingham. There is 4 houses on this side of Mariposa, and there are 5 houses on the longer side of Mariposa. And again, it's bordering a golf course, a large open area right past where this map ends. Squeezing another house onto an undersized lot will diminish the property values of many neighbors for the private benefit of one owner. It will potentially increase parking, on-street parking, and also most homes on Mariposa are 1 or 1.5 stories tall, but the proposed new home would be 2.5 stories tall on an undersized lot. This would be the largest home on an undersized lot in the neighborhood, and it's a huge departure from the current character of the neighborhood. Granting variances would unquestionably undermine zoning intent and set a bad precedent for the neighborhood. There are also several people involved in this project who work in building departments of surrounding towns and who have even worked in this city's building department in the past. They will obviously know much more than we will about this process, but I hope will be given the same consideration as they do, regardless of history or professional connections. On a more personal note, I understand that our neighbor wants to subdivide and sell this land. He's been trying to do that for at least 10 years, but I hope he understands that we're just trying to protect our property value. We believe it's already been seriously hurt by their decision to move their home to the other side of the lot, directly bordering our property line, and we feel that approving these 3 variances they are requesting would continue to hurt our investment and those of others in the neighborhood. In conclusion, these zoning laws should be upheld to maintain the character of the neighborhood in terms of size of home, parking, and density. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am, for your comments.
Do I have to sign in? Is there a pen? Okay. Okay. I'm the first one, but I have to get a pen.
Thank you. Anyone else here in opposition for this petition? Good evening, sir.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jason Dolinsky. I live at 107 Clarendon Street, which my property borders the proposed project. So the first part, I didn't really like the fact that people coming around and asking me to sign a petition to go forward with this project. It was pressured to sign, which I did not. So I just want to make that clear that I didn't really like the fact that somebody was going around the neighborhood and knocking on doors, ringing doorbells, and asking us to sign a document. The second thing is I stood here prior to COVID, and the original home that was built, I believe, was 104 Rockingham Ave, and the permit that they were looking to apply for, you had, I think it was without prejudice, you had dismissed it without prejudice. And then until an excavator had showed up at the property to dig for a foundation, I was never notified that this project had gone forward. So the existing home on one of the lots was built, and now they're looking to subdivide the other property to build a much smaller home on, and obviously deteriorating my property value. I like the fact that I live in the neighborhood and it's open space. We enjoy the open space, being near the golf course, and this home would certainly be detriment to that. Also considering the As Alicia had mentioned regarding the parking, there'll be spots in the driveway, but there's many cars on the street now, which prohibits some of the plowing and keeping our streets clean during the wintertime. So I object to this variance on such small a lot being so confined and the homes being so close together. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition to this petition? In opposition?
It's not opposition, it's just a couple of comments.
Sure. Good evening, ma'am. You state your name and address for the
Hi.
record.
Yes, my name is Janice Gomes. I live at 111 Mariposa. When Mr. Tell came around the neighborhood, I spoke to him for a little bit of time, and I did sign, his petition. But when I found out what size the house was going to be, I have some concerns. Not about putting a home there. And I didn't have trouble initially when the other gentleman wanted to put a home there. It's just the homes they're gargantuan compared to the other homes in the neighborhood. But my concern is, as the other gentleman just mentioned, when the excavator came and they were digging the hole, I was thinking to myself, where's all this water going to go? We have big area of land, and when it rains or snows and the water melts, it goes into that land. Well, what's going to happen now? Is that going to end up, because we do border the golf course, but then the land behind us slopes down, and some of the people in the back street I know get water in their basement. And I'm just wondering, is that going to happen now to all the abutters across the street if another cellar is dug and that water that usually would go into the land will be displaced, and will that end up across the street or down the street? I just don't want the rest of us to have water issues either, and also sewer issues. So that's my concern. I don't have a concern with a home, but I don't want a huge house with, because they do stand out. You don't expect all of a sudden, the big shadow from this giant house when everybody else's house is a ranch style, or maybe like Ms. Payette said, 1.5 stories. So that's my only concern.
Okay.
I'll put my name on here.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for your comments. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition of this petition? Opposition? Seeing none, that portion of the public hearing is closed. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of this petition? In favor? In favor? All right, seeing none, the public hearing is closed for the moment. Before we open up questions and comments from the board, Councilor Flood, do you want to take a few minutes to, do you have any comments you want to address before we go to the board?
Yeah, the first thing is having my client go out and talk to the neighbors. That was something I suggested before we even filed. So the neighborhood would be aware as to what we were proposing, what we wanted to do on the site. It was never to force anyone to agree to sign anything. It was to let everyone know before we came in here to catch people off guard as to what we were proposing to do on the site. Pertaining to parking, the proposed house has a garage under as well as a driveway. So there should be sufficient parking on the site for the house. The plan that we submitted addresses, and Matt can confirm with this, drainage pertaining to digging a cellar hole and how they're going to address the water and the drainage in the area.
Okay. Thank you, Councilor. All right, we're going to open questions and comments from the board now. All right, the chair recognizes Mr. Proko. Mr. Proko, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of the things that I am questioning is the sewer connection detail that I believe, Matt, you said you were going to pass on to the board, to the planning board. Is that correct?
Are we going in front of the planning board?
Yeah, but
Yes.
when are you going to have that the connection in more detail?
Usually that's done when we go to get the building permit itself. When we go through a stormwater review, we definitively analyze the sewer and the water connections. In this case, there likely is an existing sewer and water connection, but until they file for the permit and go through that methodology of looking at those components, that's when we would finalize that.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
that's typically what happens.
I just wanted that clarity simply because I know that when I looked at that property, I know it's on a hill and the runoffs, and I'm sure that's what Mrs. Gomes was concerned about, and I'm sure a lot of other neighbors. I think that the plan itself is not bad. I mean, it is conducive to the neighborhood. And I thank you for clarifying, this, because I think if people think that it's a bribery going on over there,
No, it was,
it's not a requirement. But I also believe that addressing that to the neighborhood groups that I know the Highland is pretty active, maybe that is something that could have been addressed with them before, coming to the boards. But I just think if there is clarity on the wastewater and the sewer, that maybe some of the hesitance would be there, because I do see that there is a garage, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of issues with parking.
I should note that the stormwater details are on the plan that are there to provide mitigation for runoff.
Okay.
So there's mitigation for the driveway runoff here with an infiltration trench. And there's also a subsurface infiltration in the rear for the roof runoff.
And the sewer connect, I'm sorry, go ahead.
There's drainage calculations here on the plan as well as the details for those components.
Okay. I think that this is not a bad plan. I think it's it's well presented. That's all I can tell you. So I'll be voting in favor. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Prokop. The chair recognizes Mr. Brier. Ms. Brier, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. During my tenure on the board, I've consistently voted in favor of projects of similar size and scope to what's being presented this evening. But that doesn't mean that I simply rubber stamp each and every one of those projects. So you do a careful assessment, and my judgment is that I can confidently support this project, as it does not substantially derogate from the intent of zoning or the character of the neighborhood. I'll be supporting the petition, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brier. The chair recognizes Mr. McCarthy. Mr. McCarthy, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If this were to be going forward, I'd like to condition the 5 comments from the engineering department, that we adopt those 5 comments as a condition for this. I think Massachusetts has adopted a wonderful standard for runoff. Maybe it's 10 years or so now. So any new construction in the neighborhoods, all the water that is on that site has to be mitigated on that site. So it's an improvement, actually, to the current condition, and that we are having infiltration on site. So that's partly because, we have bigger storms and we have to deal with the water much more seriously than we did in the past. So I'm glad that we have that here in Massachusetts, and this project does have the infiltrator. And I'm glad the project also has not asked for a lot of variances. It's really the frontage and the lot area. You meet setbacks, you meet height. So any building, any home in this neighborhood is allowed to be the size of the home being proposed. All the homes in the neighborhood can be adding a second floor. So, and someday they might. So this would not necessarily be a bigger home than other homes in the neighborhood. And we do know that there are other homes in the neighborhood that do have second floors. So the zoning does allow for the height that this home has. This home proposed doesn't go beyond the requirements of zoning for that. So it meets most of the criteria. It's just the lot area and the frontage. And, you know, we need more housing in the city. And these lots in that neighborhood, there are so many lots in that neighborhood that are under the 10,000 square foot size. I really see that this does fit into the neighborhood from that standpoint. So I would just like to support this and have the one condition that we adopt the 5 comments from the engineering department. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. The chair recognizes the vice chairman. Mr. Callahan, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chairman. I mean, I appreciate the comments from the abutters who are in opposition to this. I understand the concerns, but looking at it from what's been provided, and Council, I appreciate you providing the history of, you know, the plans that have been laid out for that lot going back to 1898, where, I mean, all those lots in that area were designated to be all 5,000 square feet, every single one in that whole neighborhood. But the whole, looking at the GIS map and looking at the surrounding areas, none of them, I mean, there's one 5,000 square feet in the back, but the rest are all beyond that scope. Looking at the deed of the owners that you provided, I mean, and their deed dates back, I mean, they purchased the property in 2001, but showing the description of the land. Prior to that, they purchased it, the prior owner purchased it in 1966, which predated zoning. And it clearly designates those 2 separate parcels, both each two separate parcels, lots of 5,000 square feet, 2 lots of 5,000 square feet, 1 lot of 5,000 square feet, and then a strip of an adjoining lot to get to where you're at right now. So I think, and looking again at the adjoining lots, I mean, the 2 behind you on Rockingham, both 101 Rockingham and 107, 7,500 square feet. There's an adjoining lot next to it of 5,000 square feet that's undeveloped, and then the neighbor is 112 is 5,000 square feet. So I believe you have met the criteria for a hardship. I do think that the development of this would be in the public good as far as adding new housing and new stock of housing and to the tax roll, and then based on the information provided as far as the historical record and of how these things should have been developed. They were developed actually more bigger than they were previously proposed. I think I would support that you meet the variance in this regard. So I'll be voting in favor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Callahan. Chair recognizes Mr. Hovey. Mr. Hovey, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of bases here. 2 main concerns, parking and size of the project, are not in our purview right now. They're not looking for variances for parking because they have sufficient parking, and 2.5 stories is allowed in the area, so that's not in front of us. So even if I agreed with the abutters that those were issues, that doesn't really have come into play here. So just the 2,700 square feet was short in the frontage, 17 feet, I believe, comparative to other plots in the area. You know, you gave us the block, but I think if you expanded it out further, we'd find more lots of the same size and stature. So I do support this. I get the concerns, especially drainage of the neighbors, but that's not something that we can address here. That's addressed with the engineering comments and everything else. So I am in favor of this.
Thank you, Mr. Harvey. The chair recognizes Mr. Shanahan. Mr. Shanahan, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So what I see now is an existing kind of undeveloped lot. To the right of it, it's the structure that's proposed to be put in there is going to have the same setback as what is existing now at 104 Mariposa. So that'll be uniform, and it will be a smaller footprint than what's at 104. So I see the setback is similar. Comparing to other lots in that area, I didn't see any of the homes that have a substantial side lot like 104 does now. And with regard to, the abutters' concerns, which, we appreciate you speaking tonight, without hearing any evidence that this construction would affect property value. It's parking's been addressed, and any issues with drainage, again, would be addressed by the engineering department. So based on what's before us tonight, I would be voting in favor of this variance.
Thank you, Mr. Shanahan. I think to my colleague's point, this already meets a lot of the kind of prerequisites that we need for variance. Again, I do want to thank the neighbors coming out to speak. I know it's not always easy coming out to speak on these kind of petitions. Not easy talking about it and voting as well. But we do appreciate everyone's comments on this. I really think it meets a lot of the criteria, and it's probably going to add more value to the city as a whole. Again, like my colleague said, it's more housing stock, and as we know, we are still in shortage of housing. Counselor, I heard the conditions of the engineering comments. You okay with those conditions?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Any other comments before we move forward with the motion? All right. Seeing none, can I have a motion, please?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for ZBA 2025-53 for variances at 104 Mariposa Ave. Variances are for minimum lot size, minimum lot area per dwelling unit, and minimum frontage, with the condition that we adopt the 5 comments from the engineering department.
All right. Motion by Mr. McCarthy.
Second.
Second by Mr. Prokop. Can I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Peck,
Approve of conditions.
Vice Chair Callahan,
Approve of conditions.
Member McCarthy,
Approve with condition.
Member Briere,
Approval.
Member Prokop,
Approve with conditions.
Member Hovey,
Approve.
Member Shanahan.
Approve.
All right. You've been approved. Wish you best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good evening. All right, moving on to the next item on the agenda. We have ZBA-2025-54. The petition is a variance. The applicant is Eduardo Panati, property located at 75 Chapel Street. The petition, the Lowell Planning Board of Appeals and the Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing to interested persons relative to an application by the applicant to convert the existing 4-unit residential building to a 6-unit residential building. The subject property is located in the urban neighborhood multifamily UMF zoning district. The proposal requires site plan review approval from the planning board for the expansion of a residential development for more than 3 residential units. The proposal also requires a variance relief from the Zoning Board of Appeals under section 6.1.11, number 5, for having stacked parking spaces for any other relief required in the Lowell zoning ordinance. Good evening, sir.
Hi, good evening. My name is Carlos Ferreira. I'm the engineer for the project. I represent MP Design Consultants. We prepared the plans for
Good evening, yeah.
tonight.
Welcome. Tell us about your project, sir.
Literally, I don't have like a print of the plan. I hope you guys have that, but it's basically 75 Chapel Street is an existing 4-family. The owner is proposing to add 2 more units to the roof of the property on the back of it, which is the attic. So we're adding like 2 additional units to the property. And then we're proposing like emergency, it will be all conforming to the zoning code, to the building code for emergency egress, and it will meet all the building code regulations. The only variance that we are seeking is that to be able to meet the required number of parking spaces, the parking layout is like stacked, like back to back. We went in front of the planning board. There was a couple comments that they needed to the plans regarding, we have like a guest parking space. I mean, they asked us to put snow storage on that location. They asked us like from some fencing to like hide the stairs and additional landscaping for the property. So that's what we basically asking for, is like just the double stacking parking garage.
Okay, thank you, sir, for the summary of your project. You have nothing further. We'll open up the hearing to the public. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this petition? In opposition? All right, seeing none, that portion of the public hearing is closed. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of this petition? In favor? All right, seeing none, the public hearing is closed. We're going to open questions and comments to the board. The chair recognizes Mr. Briere. Mr. Briere, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the engineer who's present,
Yes.
all the work is contained within the existing footprint of the structure.
That's
Correct.
correct.
12 parking spaces required. You provide how many?
I think it was like, how many? 13 parking spaces.
13. And you're aware of the comments issued by the fire department with respect to fire sprinkler system?
We didn't receive like comments from the fire department yet. There is on the building code, I
Well-
mean, there's an allowance that, which we meet that, because the units are separated, like the access for the units are separate from each other. So we can actually execute that without a sprinkler system, but then if there's a requirement from the fire department, then.
Yeah, there is a
probably have-
requirement, so you'll be expected to comply with that in order to proceed.
Okay.
Nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Briere. The chair recognizes Mr. McCarthy. Mr. McCarthy, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm glad my fellow colleague here, Mark Briere, brought up the sprinkler system because I see that as a major benefit. We already have the 4 bedrooms in this building on the 3rd floor, and you're providing 2 apartments that basically incorporate those 4 bedrooms. So we don't increase the number of bedrooms in this building, but we do increase the safety in the building itself by adding the sprinkler system.
Okay.
And so I think this is a reasonable variance request to provide the stacked parking. In this case, we don't change the pavement. I would like to condition that we work with DPD to provide 2 shade trees if possible. There's a building across the street that has 2 shade trees, but there's absence of shade trees on the street in general. And I think that it would be worth fighting for and getting some shade trees in this very heavily paved neighborhood. So with that condition, I can support this. So thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. The chair recognizes the vice chairman, Mr. Callahan. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the only issue is the number of just the stacked parking itself. You meet the, you presented enough to show the parking, but I can't tell the dimensions. I can't tell what the dimensions of the parking are from the plan. I mean, what are the dimensions?
They are the standard like 9 by 18 parking spaces.
Okay.
So it's just that they,
Okay.
One
Well,
in front of the other.
just want to make sure. I don't see that. Maybe I'm missing it. I don't see that in the dimensions for the parking themselves noted on the plan. So I'd ask you at least provide us with updated plans for showing the dimensions of the parking projected. The other concern I had, I did happen to watch your presentation before the planning board, and I understand that the planning board, they continued it to February 2nd, I believe, because they had concerns about a couple of things, including the stairways as to where they're coming out and how they're coming out
Yes.
of the building. Right now, what is your projected idea of the stairways? Are they, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the planning board, you have two sets of stairways on each side coming out that are supposed to be coming out towards the sides of the building, but
Yes.
I think that's what the planning board was concerned about them, the stairways coming out of there, and I guess my question is, is there any plans to have the stairways now come out of the back of the building? Because then that affects that may affect how the parking is being laid out.
Yes. It will
So what are the
affect
plans for the
driveway.
stairways?
It will definitely affect the driveway layout on the back of the property if we put the stairs over on the back.
Okay,
I think like the layout that we have, is the most, that works the best with like the layout of the house that we have. I mean, they come like, tight against the building. And those are emergency egress stairs.
yeah. Okay. So so you're saying, at this point, there's no change in based on the plans that we have right now,
Yes,
there's no change as far as the stairway is concerned?
yes. We would like to keep them like that.
You like to keep them like that, okay, and you have to deal with that with the planning board, I guess.
Yep.
All right, that's fine. No, because if you planned on changing it, we would need to see new updated plans to show where because if the stairs are now coming out in the back,
Yeah.
and then that would affect how your parking is effectuated as well, and we would certainly need to see that, so. Okay, the other thing that, when I was watching the planning board, was concerned, signage. I think you certainly would need
Yes.
to see some sort of signage as far
We
as
indicate one way.
one
around.
way
Yeah.
going in, one way coming out.
Yes.
I would have a condition that there be some appropriate signage as far as the entrance and exit of the parking area, as well as, what about the particular units? You should probably have signage for the particular units themselves, like who parks where, correct? I mean,
So what was the question?
well, you have designated, your site plan, you have designated,
Yes.
you put, stacked parking.
Yeah, we
unit
can
one,
paint the
stacked
parking for
Yes.
designated parking spaces for the tenants, yes.
Yes. And signage for each
And the
individual. tenant.
signage, like for each one, like it will be like a one-way, because we have like entrance on one side of the property, on the right side.
Well,
of it.
what I'm saying is signage for the units, like.
Oh, in the
this-
signage for the.
Unit 1 parks here, Unit 2 parks
Yes.
here, Unit 3 parks here, Unit 4 visitor parking.
Yes.
Signage so people know,
Yes,
what,
we were adding that to the.
You are?
plans.
okay. I'd like to condition that as well. I don't know how we, I guess, with DPD, review, how we want to put it. Consult with DPD
Yep,
about
yep.
about signage for the entrance and exit of the vehicles and for the particular units and visitor parking, something to that effect, so.
Yep.
Oh, and snow removal. I think there was a concern about
Yeah,
snow
and
removal.
there's no removal. We made like a designated area for like the gas parking, as there's no storage.
So you're gonna have a designated spot for snow storage as well?
Yes.
All right, work with DPD as far as snow storage as well, I guess, so, okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's good.
Member McCarthy, you get those?
I got them too, yeah. Snow storage.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, those concerns, if you'd recondition them and with those concerns, if you're in agreement with that, then I can find myself supporting this, so, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Callahan. The chair recognizes Mr. Hovey. Mr. Hovey, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. I would also like to see a new site plan with the parking dimensions put on there. I mean, the variants that we're dealing with right now are parking, and the parking spots don't have any measurements on there, right? So that's great. Currently, what are the garages being used for? Storage or parking? Because it looks like it's being used for storage rather than parking.
For parking.
So cars are parked in the garages right now? Okay. I mean, you're meeting the parking requirements. You're really just here for stacked. So I think technically, this is something that can be passed with those conditions. But on-street parking in that area is tight. So, right, so I just want to make sure those garages are being used as parking spots, but that's really not in our purview at this point. So stacked parking, I can agree with on this.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hovey. The chair recognizes Mr. Shanahan. Mr. Shanahan, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So there is an existing garage there, correct?
Yes.
And how many bays is that garage?
I don't remember that. How many? Eight bays.
Okay, 8 bays. And you're looking on the plan, it looks like you're looking to stack in front of 6 of those,
Yes.
with a visiting parking at the end.
Yes, parking.
I just want a clarification for that. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shanahan. The chair recognizes Mr. Prokop. Mr. Prokop, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I can agree with this as well. I did share the concern as Member Callahan that I didn't see the parking dimensions on the site plan. So
We will revise the
I think once you resubmit it, and that is a condition that we enter, correct? For the updated site plan? Did Member Callahan mention that?
If I could, the actual Unit 4 parking space is dimensioned, and it calls out 9-foot typical and 18-foot 6 inches typical.
We
So it is
have
actually on
a,
the-
I have
Thank you,
a
member.
plan, but it's not printed out because it was a comment from like planning board that it shows like the dimension, the typical dimension of the units is 9 by 18.5 feet. And that will be revised in that plan for planning board. I can share that.
Okay. Well, thank you, Member McCarthy. Yeah, I think, as Member Hovey said too, that, the parking is pretty, thin around that area. So the fact that you're making the effort to avoid on-street parking and using stacked parking, I from what I can see when I drove by yesterday, it seemed like people were already stacked parking. So it's just you making it official, from our perspective. So I'll be voting in favor with the conditions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Prokop. All right, sir. I agree with my colleagues. Again, a creative way to remedy this parking situation. Did you go yet? Yes. All right. We talked about a couple of conditions, and then we'll move forward with a motion here. Mr. McCarthy, you want to just list the conditions? I know there's a few of them.
So I just want to call to attention my fellow board members that the plan submitted dated the 17th of November. I don't know if it's updated, but anyway, does call out the parking spaces as 9-foot typical as far as a width and 18-foot 6 inches typical as a length. So we already have that on the site plans. It actually does call out the one-way traffic flow and indicates a sign for do not enter sign that would be added. It does not, however, indicate signage for each tenant. And so the condition that Member Callahan suggested that we provide is to work with DPD to develop a signage system appropriate to list each unit parking as where it will be placed on the site.
Yes.
I think that was the only condition.
And then we'll work with DPD to add maybe 2 shade trees.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was right.
Yep.
And then to work with DPD to provide 2 shade trees, yes. Okay.
I got one question, though. I mean, I understand I do not see the do not enter sign proposed. Any objection to on the other side putting some form of enter here sign? I don't know. It just seems like it's going to be very. It's a very tight. It's very tight to get into that property to begin with, and I just think it would behoove your client to have it clear, you enter on one side, you do not enter on the other side, because I could just see someone just avoiding, not paying attention, avoiding the do not enter sign and going down that road and then going down that space and then being whatever. I don't know, should we, I'll listen to my fellow board members if they want to condition it. I think I'm going to presume the planning board's probably going to wind up conditioning that, something similar to that
We can
as
add
well.
that.
So,
We can do that, Mr. Vice
Yeah.
Chairman, yeah.
okay. Would your client, I mean, you'd be agreeable to that?
Yes.
Having a sign enter here, and then the do not enter sign where you have it proposed, just so it's clear. So, okay. Like I said, I think, based on what I saw in planning, it sounds to me like they're going to probably want you to do that as well. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Callahan.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to thank Member McCarthy. I'd like to use your glasses next time. I see the dimensions.
Thank you, Mr. Prokop. And thank you, Mr. McCarthy. All right. I think we have the conditions down now. If we could have a motion.
3, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for ZBA 2025-54 for variance at 75 Chapel Street. And the variance is to provide stacked parking spaces with the condition that the applicant work with DPD to provide signage for a entry as well as do not enter for the one-way traffic flow, and signage for listing each unit parking separately at the rear, as well as a condition to provide, to work with DPD to provide 2 shade trees.
All right, motion by Mr. McCarthy.
Seconded, but can we just include on that as far as the signage for the units, visitor parking as well?
And then to add that as well for condition. All right, motion by Mr. McCarthy, seconded by the Vice Chairman. Can we have a roll call, please?
Chairman Peck,
Approve of conditions.
Vice Chair Callahan,
Approve of conditions.
Member McCarthy,
Approve with conditions.
Member Briere,
Approval?
Member Prokop,
Approve with conditions.
Member Shanahan,
Approved.
Member Hovey.
Approve.
All right, you've been approved, sir. Wish you best of luck.
Good night.
All right. Have a good evening, folks. All right, moving on to the next item on the agenda. We have ZBA-2025-55. The petition is a variance. The applicant is Yono de la Cruz and Maria Vidal. Property located at 13 Whitney Ave. The Lowell Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing to all interested persons relative to an application by the applicant to split the existing lot at 13 Whitney Ave into 3 lots. Lot 1 will be the site of the existing 3-unit building. Lot 2 will be the site of the single-family home. Lot 3 will be the site of a 2-unit building. The subject property is located in the traditional 2-family TTF zoning district. Lot 2 will acquire a variance under section 5.1 for lot area per dwelling unit, usable open space per dwelling unit, and for any other required in the Lowell zoning ordinance. Lot 3 will require variance under section 5.1 for lot area per dwelling unit, maximum stories, usable open space per dwelling unit, and for any other required in the Lowell zoning ordinance.
Red marker right there. Can you turn it this way? Camera.
Good evening, sir. Can you press the thing? Is that on? It turns green, yeah? Do you see?
All right. Okay, yeah, I think it's on now.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, sir.
So good evening, my name is Ian Ainsley. I'm an engineer from ISOPREM. I am here representing the applicant and property owner who is here with me tonight, Joyner De La Cruz and Maria Vidal. This is 13 Whitney Ave. This is kind of a map of the area. So this is Bridge Street. If you head north, you get to Market Basket and you get to Drake-it. The schools are up the hill here. This is McPherson Park. And then the property that we're talking about is here. Even though it's a Whitney Ave address property, most of what we're talking about for the development is actually on Bridge Street. The property has Whitney Ave in the back and then Bridge Street in the front. So the property as it is now, Whitney Ave, Bridge Street. If you've been down Bridge Street, there's about 4 or 5 foot high wall along the front property line there. It's very steep coming up. And then there's an existing 3-unit building at the top of the property, and that's accessed from Whitney Ave. What we're proposing to do is to subdivide the property into 3 properties. The first lot would be the existing 3-unit dwelling up on Whitney Ave. That would be a conforming, its own property, no variances needed. We would be creating 2 new properties down on Bridge Street. One would be a single-family dwelling, and one would be a 2-family duplex. The duplex would have drive-in garages, drive-under garages. The single-family would not have a garage just because of the grading in the space. Would have 2-car parking driveway. Both of these would be on city water and city sewer. And let me get into what the actual variances that we're requesting are. So for Lot 2, which is the single-family home, we would be requesting a variance for the lot area. It's about 3,200 where 6,000 is required, and a lot area per dwelling unit. Again, 3,200 where 6,000 is required. We would also be requesting a variance for the open space per dwelling unit, 0 where 500 is required. And then for lot number 3, which is the 2-family dwelling, we'd be requesting a lot area per dwelling unit of 3,000 where 4,000 is required. A 3-story building where 2.5 stories is the max, and then a usable open space per dwelling unit of 250 where 1,000 is required. If you look back at that kind of neighborhood map that I show, the lot area for this neighborhood is very consistent with the area, and I think staff noted that in their review as well. There's very many 3,000, 4,000 square foot lots on Bridge Street, going around the corner on Whitney Ave. All have single-family, 2-family dwellings, so I don't think this is out of the character, the density of the neighborhood. There is enough area here without any variances to do a 2-unit building in the back. So the variances that we're requesting will result in 1 more unit than was allowed by right. The other thing to consider is, like I said, McPherson Park is just down the street. So there's a large public open space that's very easily accessed from this property that the owners can use. And then regarding the stories, there's a similar property right to the left of this, 1065 Bridge Street. You have garages where you drive in at street level, and then the ground on either side is actually up kind of near the first story. So unless you're looking directly in front of the building, if you're driving down the street, it's actually going to look like a 2-story building. And it's really when you're looking at it dead on that it looks like a 3-story building. We would have to do some grading to flatten these lots. You can see there's terraced retaining walls around the back to make the grades work. We would grade these to 8%, which I think is the requirement in the zoning. That would allow for, a pretty good amount of green space, even if it doesn't meet the strict definition of usable open space. And just the cost that is involved in constructing those walls and doing the grading, I think it would make it prohibitively difficult to just do the 2-unit by right. I think you need to maximize the units here in order to make the development of this property, financially feasible. So that's really the gist of the project. I'm happy to answer your questions.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hensley. We're going to open the hearing to the public. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this petition? Good evening, sir.
Good evening, members of the board. I'm Ray Belrose. I live at 168 18th Street, and I own the property at 79 Whitney Avenue, with abuts 13 Whitney Avenue. I'm speaking against the project, especially where the out-of-city owners are trying to rezone by variance. Going from a required 6,000 square feet to allow a unit on almost half at 3,255 square feet is absurd. requesting a second variance for Lot 3 of almost another 1,000 square feet, 995 to be exact, along with another variance for a half a story and only 250 square feet of unusable open space where 1,000 square feet is required by existing zoning is outrageous. Whitney Ave, 18th Street, Bridge Street are already heavy with multifamily properties, and parking is already tough enough. And as the gentleman said, there's a house that's right next door that has a driveway that goes out to Bridge Street. Well, if you were to drive down there and see the cars parked in the driveway, the cars would be sticking out onto the sidewalk where people that come by with walk in, or if they had a wheelchair or anything pushing a carriage, they'd have to go out to the street to go around them and get back on the sidewalk. So try driving along Bridge Street from the middle of April to the middle of August, where cars are parked on both sides of the street from Richardson Street to 18th Street because of three softball fields where they have tournaments every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can hear the cheers from the side porch and driveway of my property. Stating that McPherson Park is located just down the street, which also has basketball courts, tennis courts, and a city pool, should waive the required on-site usable space. Makes no sense. I keep hearing of a supposed housing crisis, but if you look at Centerville as a whole, between St. Louis property, the A&G Hardware property, the East End property, and the Apple Orchard up on Christian Street in Centerville, we've experienced more than our fair share of expanded housing in the city. I urge this board to reject this request and let them build a 1-2 family on that lot that can meet the current zoning issues and maybe prevent a hazard, from somebody walking if they had the driveways and cars parked there, and instead of trying to make an already densely populated area even more so. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your comments. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Good evening, Councilor.
Good evening. Corey Robinson, 5 West 10th Street. As one of my neighbors basically just spoke on, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this area. I mean, the requested relief is due to self-inflicted harm, it seems like. Even reading the documentation, it's referred to on page 5. The cost of these walls, and as a result, created lots must be maximized for financial feasibility for the developer. The impacts, if we look 20 feet to your right at where this proposed project is, there's a freshwater stream that runs down the Robinson Hill. About 100 or 200 yards down the road on Bridge Street, we're already dealing with projects similar to this where they disrupted the water table, and we have private businesses that are now contending with sheets of ice for all their patrons from November to ice out. I mean, again, are these below market rate units that's being proposed? Because we keep hearing about maximizing financial feasibility, but the cost of rents nowadays, I mean, any development, and I do agree the city is looking for housing. We have been, but strategic. Centerville alone in the past 18 months has added 130 additional units of housing, all types. So, as was mentioned again by my neighbor, we have been doing our part over in this neighborhood, and it seems like every time we feel like a project comes through that's well thought out and fits the neighborhood, it addresses all the challenges that the neighbors raise, another project pops up that turns into what could be potential problems. I mean, we talk about walkability, we talk about improving pedestrian safety and all these things, but here we are trying to shove a square peg in a round hole. Height, all these different variances. I mean, in one relief that's being requested, it's almost double. I mean, cut in half the requirement. So, I mean, we've dealt with the unintended consequences of these large-scale development projects, and I understand. I mean, it's expensive to develop right now. No one's disputing that. But at what cost does the neighborhood have to play as a result of that? Public good, it's McPherson Park being mentioned for consideration because you don't meet open space requirements or green space requirements. Is the developer also going to help to maintain and upkeep McPherson Park because they're mentioning it in the application? And so I think before we start trying to maximize for financial feasibility for a private development, I think we also have to weigh in, especially on an application that comes before you, citing, looking at public green space to help kind of alleviate the self-inflicted harm that's being caused as a result of this proposal. And that's the hardship. The hardship isn't coming from anything really related to zoning, planning, or anything else. It's coming from, as was mentioned, the retaining walls that are needed. And I'd still like to see part of the application, has anyone considered the groundwater table over there? Because again, as I mentioned, 15 feet from this project, we have a natural spring that runs. A couple hundred yards down the road, you're seeing the result of retaining walls up above. So I hope the board really takes this into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor, for your comments. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Good evening.
Jerry Nutter, I live at 9 Whitney Ave. I've been renting from Mr. Belrose for about 16 years now. This project, it calls for hardship variance, and yet the gentleman in his presentation said that they have enough land and property there to build a 2-family, even with the garage, even if you want to call it a 3-family. You would not need any variances. They're looking to put in special variances so they can recoup their money and make the money. And I understand that's what developers do. But if you've driven through that neighborhood, as Mr. Belrose stated, especially between April and August when girls softball is playing, both sides of the street have cars parked. It's hard enough to get by. In heavy rainstorms, down by Richardson Street and the entrance to the Robinson School, it floods halfway up. Because of the stream that the councilor mentioned, there's runoff water into the street. What's going to happen to the rain from these paved side driveways that he's putting in? That's going to continue to run into the street. And now we're looking at possibly more flooding. Billings Street, if you're familiar with that neighborhood, we have a flooding problem right down the street where the lights are. There's really no reason to give a variance of any kind when none is actually needed except to fit another property. And taking this whole thing, which is one property right now, and making it 3 makes no sense for the density in that neighborhood. As both Mr. Belrose and the council pointed out, Centerville over the last year and a half has put in all sorts of new housing, from what's going on up in the apple orchards to what's going on with the East End Club, AG Hardware, the whole St. Louis revitalization. Centerville's done its share. It's a very dense neighborhood, as a lot of you are familiar with. I just don't think we should pass variances when you could build, as the gentleman even admitted, you could build the 2-family with the driving garage and need no variances at all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nutter, for your comments. Good evening, ma'am.
Hi, thank you. My name is Connie Morton Eubank. I am one of the owners of 19 Whitney Avenue, which is in a butter of 13, 15, and 17. May I come up and look at that drawing so that I can point out some things on it?
Sure, it's fine. Yeah.
Thank you.
You want to just take that mic right there? Yeah. Yeah, just speak into that.
Okay, first of all, I support the idea of increasing housing. But I share the concerns of the previous abutters and owners who just spoke. I've had several concerns. One is the safety of the people who will be backing out onto Bridge Street from these places. So this is 19 right here. So we also own down to Bridge Street as well, the other open space lot right beside of it. This current house, right, the current houses this doesn't go all the way over to 18th. But the two houses that are right here, the cars already park on Bridge Street right there and make it very difficult to see when you're exiting 18th Street. So that is a concern of anybody having to back out of these spaces. I have concerns about the accuracy of the height that they have labeled this retaining wall right here, because I've walked that sidewalk, and in most places, I'm 5'2". In most places, it's as tall as me or taller than me. There may be one place where it's only 4.5 feet tall, which they have it labeled right here as 4.5 feet tall. There may be one place where it's that tall, but in most other places, it's considerably taller than that. I'm concerned about the loss of the trees on their property and the open space. I am concerned about our trees along this property line, which I am assuming this is the property line since it's not really labeled. We have trees along here. In particular, we have a very tall weeping hemlock on our property right here, which I brought a picture of. So that you can see our house is a 2-story with a full attic and a turret that adds it to make it almost 4 stories. That weeping hemlock is taller than our house, and it's very close to the property line. With those retaining walls being put here, it's approximately right here. I'm very concerned that that digging would disturb that or damage that tree. That's the biggest one. There are others along this property line as well that I'm also concerned about. The plan says that they would be required to put pervious paved driveways. I'm assuming that means the opposite of impervious, that they would actually absorb storm water. I want to know for sure that that would be enforced, that that would be required. I also have concerns about how a house with 0 open space would deal with stormwater runoff. A lot with 0 open space. And I also have concerns that if this retaining wall, it says it would be max height 6 feet is up against the property line, would you require a fence along the property line to prevent anybody falling over that 6 feet drop right there? Or would that be a 6 feet drop? I'm sorry, I don't understand the plans well enough to tell if that, but that obviously it would be close to 6 feet. And those are my concerns.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for your comments. All right. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition to this petition? Good evening, sir.
Hi. Thank you for having me. My name is Ray Morton Eubank, and I'm with Connie as a co-owner of 19 Whitney Avenue. I just like to brag on our weeping hemlock. If you, right where Route 113 crosses Bridge Street, if you look down Bridge Street from there, you're on the top of a hill, and if you look to the horizon, there is one tree that is prominent. It's the tallest tree. Anywhere you look, that's our weeping hemlock. It's a beautiful thing. I have a picture of it. It's probably too small to see. But this is a picture from there. And this is the weeping hemlock right here. You could see nothing else on the horizon. Even the smokestack on the mill building is as tall. That is right on the property line. The root system would almost be certainly demolished by the retaining walls. I don't want to lose a tree that's valuable like that. You can see it from other locations in Lowell. If you go Eustis Avenue, if you come down Eustis Avenue, it's the prominent thing that you see. It's a beautiful tree. The second thing, the only other concern I have is I concur with this is a very dangerous thing. If you look at those garages that are in the plan, they're very tight. A car barely fits. It has to back out. I don't see how it can have any visibility onto Bridge Street, which is a very, very busy road. We don't go 18th to Bridge. We avoid that intersection in the morning and evening. It's very, very busy. And as people say, during the summer months when you have softball, it's a very, parking is all the way up. There are many, many people. It increases the danger. We now have one driveway on that part of Bridge Street. This plan would incur 4 driveways, 4 times the danger of people getting hurt. Those are my concerns. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your comments. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? In opposition? All right, seeing none, that portion of the public hearing is closed. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of this petition? In favor? All right, seeing none, the public hearing is closed at the moment. We're going to open questions and comments from the board. But Mr. Ansley, did you have any comments?
I do. I'd respond to some of those regarding the tree that's, I think very important to the neighbors. I don't think we'd have opposition. Sometimes in these construction projects, the developer will hire an arborist to go out there and make a determination, if your work is going to affect the tree or not, and how far away you can get without damaging the tree. I don't think we would have an opposition to doing that. The walls, don't have to be right in this corner. We can kind of shift those in a little bit and get the limit of work a little bit further from the property line. Regarding the parking, both lots, especially the 2-unit, you have an 18-foot parking space here and then 8 more feet, in front of the garage. That building is set much further back than the Bridge Street, 1065 Bridge Street that they're talking about. You can see the front of the building here. We're set back significantly further. And I show on the plan that, the full, I think it's 9 by 18 parking spaces can fully fit on the property with no overhang onto the street. Then regarding drainage, as one of the abutters mentioned, we are going to have pervious driveways, and that was intentional because I knew there would be flow going onto the street. Stormwater, wastewater utility is going to look at this as well. They're going to require some sort of drainage system. So that's going to be looked at and designed and reviewed by the city. So we are, addressing stormwater as best we can. There is, pretty good amount of green space on the property too, so it's not like we're turning the whole thing into, impervious all over the place. I think that's really what I had to respond to. I'm happy to answer your questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ansley. All right, we're going to open questions and comments from the board. The chair organizes. Mr. McCarthy, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I start, I just want to say that I think we didn't meet the minimum requirements, prerequisites, which is to locate a sign on the site. I was there today and could not find a panel that was erected to notify neighbors. That's a requirement of any application that comes before us.
We did put a sign out there, and I did send the photo to DPD.
Okay.
I think 2 weeks in advance. I don't know if it's out there today, but it was out there at some point.
Okay. All right. So it had been up there. Okay.
Yes. And they have the photo, so.
All right. In the future, I think it's your obligation to maintain it.
Sure.
Until the hearing. All right. Have you done any hydrology? It's about a 14 or 15-foot cut on the site. Do we know if there is going to be a dewatering system installed?
There will have to be, as they cut down, some sort of process to dewater as they lower the water table. We haven't done any soil testing per se to see exactly where the water table is, but that is something that we would review with Lowell Stormwater and make sure that they're good with it before they issue a building permit.
Okay. In my opinion, you're asking for too many variances. Just my opinion. You're asking to create 2 lots, and each lot has 3 or so variances attached to them. Whereas you could come before us with, I think, without any variances if you wanted to do the 2-family. So I'm surprised that you've chosen to come in with as many variances because it does seem like extreme case here, especially where one lot is nearly 50% the size of what's required by zoning.
So that's really the crux of kind of what we're talking about here is, regardless of how you develop this property, you're going to have the slope issue, you're going to have the topography, you're going to have to put retaining walls in the back. And when you put a two-family in here, as the abutters mentioned, it's very expensive to develop, and you're not looking for big profits per se, but you need to make your money. You need to be able to financially, make it feasible. And I think you have a situation where you have the land to do development, but it's cost prohibitive to doing the development. And that's why you have to put as many units as possible to make it developable, or otherwise, this whole area, I don't think could be built financially.
Right.
And that's really the hardship. It's a financial hardship based on the topography of the land.
Oh, I understand the topography creates a hardship for sure. However, it's a extreme number of variances here, in my opinion. And then we also have issues with engineering or traffic. So the traffic engineer made a comment that the wall should be lowered to 3.5 feet and a 15-foot triangle starting at the edge of the travelway to allow for sufficient sight distance for vehicles exiting the driveway. Have you looked at that?
I haven't looked at it, but the wall that's there now, in order to get these driveways in there, we're going to have to take down portions of that wall, as other neighbors have done along that street to access their property. And that can be adjusted, to make that opening wider, maybe even push the wall back and create that sight triangle that the traffic engineer is talking about. I think that can be constructed in a way that does provide visibility, superior visibility to some of these other houses here. 1065 right next door is, same type of thing. It's just a right angle in the front. So I think we could improve in that compared to the other properties.
Okay, but in lowering that wall, you're making the grade steeper behind that wall and potentially getting the retaining wall in the back there to be even taller.
Possibly, yep.
Well,
or alternatively, the wall, the location of the wall can be moved. Instead of being at a right angle along the front property line, you could do it at an angle so that
I
it
see
comes.
too many question marks here as far as the engineering on this, and if you want to continue this and go back and try to resolve some of these things, I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I can't support this the way it is right now. Just my opinion.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. The chair recognizes the Vice Chairman, Ms. Callahan. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, through Mr. Chairman. I appreciate what the applicant, what you're trying to do, Mr. Ansley, but I have grave concerns about this as far as, and I totally understand the hardship as far as the topography is concerned, absolutely, definitely, but as was mentioned by some of the abutters too, it's basically the hardships being created by what's being presented. I understand, and you can certainly do whatever, or your client can certainly do whatever they want. If I understand it's cost prohibitive, then that's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. But I just don't see myself supporting this. The lot, the one-family lot, you're looking at, we need relief of 2,745 feet of lot area. Provides zero open space. The two-family, a little less relief being requested, but you can easily, and again, I understand the cost prohibitive to that, but you can easily just do one two-family in this and cover all the zoning. So I just don't see myself supporting this, and that's just the way it is. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Callahan. The chair recognizes Mr. Hovey. Mr. Hovey, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. I think this lot a project can happen on, but not to repeat everything the other members said. I don't think this meets hardship. I think we're looking at fiscal hardship, but that's not really the issue. I think if you split this into two lots, you can get a project done. So just for that reason alone, I'm not going to approve this.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Huffey. The chair recognizes Mr. Shanahan. Mr. Shanahan, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The topography of this area hasn't changed since the owners purchased this property. It is what it is. You can't always buy a property thinking ahead, I'm going to develop it, I'm going to make money. What can I do to do that? So in my view, this plan's overly aggressive for that particular lot, given the characteristics of the lot. And also it is a congested part of that section of Centerville. So there's just several variances that are looking for substantial kind of minimums to be met here. And as everyone has already stated, if it was merely just the two-family, we wouldn't need to be here today. So again, in my view, I think it's overly aggressive for that area. The topography is what it is. And with that being said, I will not be voting in favor for this project.
Thank you, Mr. Shanahan. Chair recognizes Mr. Prokop. Mr. Prokop, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I agree with fellow board members. I believe that this project does require an excessive amount of variances. It is self-inflicted, unfortunately, and I cannot support it as it stands either. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prokop. Chair recognizes Mr. Breer. Mr. Breer, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with my colleagues, and in particular, Member Shanahan, who says that this is an overly aggressive plan. In layman's terms, it's just too big of an ask. Right from my initial review, the questions that came up, the number of variances, and the fact that you immediately didn't go to the concerns of the Transportation Department, where our professionals believe that these new residents or proposed residents would be backing out blindly into Bridge Street. The comments about the parking during softball season, right on the money. I totally concur with the comments made by the abutters and feel that in this case, the only hardship would be those borne by the neighborhood. So having said that, I cannot support this project in its current form.
All right, thank you, Mr. Breer. I want to say thank you for the neighbors for coming out tonight. Mr. Ansley, I understand what you're trying to do. Again, I think, as my colleague said, it's a little too big of an ask. I wouldn't be able to support it to how it currently stands. I think one of the comments was, I don't know, you want to go back to the drawing board, scale it down, or talk to your clients. But as of right now, I don't think I can vote in favor as well. So, you have a few options, obviously.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing is, if it can be made a little more palatable to the board, maybe the number of variances reduced, I can at least take a look at it and see if there's any sort of alternative that would make it a little more palatable to the board.
All right. So, did you want to do a continuance?
Yeah, I think I'd request a continuance.
Okay.
When is your next meeting?
Ms. Brundage, is there an opening anytime coming up in the next agenda?
The next available spot would be February 19th.
Yeah, I think we can do that.
Okay. Yep. All right. Before we move forward with a motion to continue, any other comments from my colleagues here? All right. Seeing none, can I have a motion to continue, please?
3, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for ZBA 2025-55 for variance at 13 Whitney Ave to be continued to February 19th.
Sorry, the next available, sorry, I was looking at the wrong schedule. Actually, it can be continued January 26th. If that works.
Do you want?
That's
Would be enough time? I don't know.
You mean?
I think
Or February 9th.
to get staff reviews, I think it would be difficult. I think February 9th would be doable.
February 9th. Okay.
My apologies.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
February 9th or 19th?
February.
9th, okay.
Okay.
All right.
3, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to continue the application for 13 Whitney Ave to February 9th.
All right, motion by Mr. McCarthy to continue the matter to February 9th.
Second.
Second by the Vice Chairman. Can we have a roll call, please?
Chairman Peck,
Approve continuance.
Vice Chair Callahan,
Continue to February 9th, 2026.
Member McCarthy,
Approve continuance.
Member Briere,
Approval.
Member Procope,
Approve continuance to February 9, 2026.
Member Shanahan,
Approve continuance.
Member Hovey,
Approve.
All right, the matter's been continued. We'll see you February 9th, okay, sir? And then just for the public notice, this is the public notice. There'll be no other notice regarding this petition. All right, moving on to the next item on the agenda. We have ZBA-2025-56. The petition is a variance. The applicant is New North Canal LLC, property located at 463 and 281 Moody Street. The petition, the Lowell Planning Board and the Lowell Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing to all interested persons relative to an application by the applicant to redevelop two sites located at 463 Moody Street and 281 Moody Street from 116 units of affordable housing into 160 units of new construction affordable housing. The subject property are located in the urban neighborhood multifamily UMF zoning district. The proposed development at 463 Moody Street will be a 4-story building and containing 100 senior restricted affordable units. The proposed development at 281 Moody Street will be a 5-story building consisting of a 60-unit of affordable housing. The proposal requires site plan review approval from the planning board for the creation of the residential development, more than 3 residential units, and the proposal also requires a variance relief from the zoning board of appeals under section 6.1 for minimum parking requirements and for any required loads or ordinance. Good evening, Counselor, again.
Good evening. Attorney Catherine Flood here on behalf of New North Canal LLC for variance approval pursuant to Section 6.1 for minimum parking requirements for property located at 463 and 281 Moody Street. My client intends to redevelop the properties currently consisting of 116 units of affordable housing into 160 units of affordable housing. The first phase of the project will create 44 additional affordable housing units within the city. The project seeks to modernize 2 aging affordable housing sites with energy-efficient construction, provide additional green space, on-site services, a playground, outdoor fitness area, community programming space, and strengthen community health through improved outdoor space and walkability, and create a more livable residential environment than the existing conditions. The subject properties are in a UMF zoning district. 463 Moody Street currently consists of 8 buildings with 75 affordable housing units. It will be converted to 1 4-story building consisting of 100 senior restricted affordable housing units, all 1-bedroom units. The minimum parking requirement for 463 Moody Street is 204 parking spaces. The proposed plans show a total parking count of 70 spaces. Therefore, we are requesting a variance. As stated, 463 Moody Street will be used for senior housing, said demographic not having many vehicles. The applicant currently houses 95 senior residents with a total of 55 vehicles. Further, we submitted a traffic study with the application. The traffic study indicates that the on-site parking at 463 Moody Street is sufficient to meet the predicted demand, and public transportation services are provided in the area. There's bus service on Merrimack Street, which is a 2 to 6 minute walk from the property. Due to the existing and less significant demands for parking from a population this property intends to serve, the application has a hardship to support its request for a variance. 281 Moody Street currently consists of 41 affordable housing units and will be redeveloped into 1 5-story building with 60 affordable units and garage parking under the building. The building will consist of 1 and 2 and 3-bedroom units and will house families. The minimum parking requirement for this property is 122 parking spaces. The proposed plan shows 47 spaces, requiring 76 spaces of relief. This property is in close proximity to the neighboring North Canal parcel located at 150 Father Morissette Boulevard to be developed in the future. You will see as we proceed with our presentation that there are 3 parcels that will consist of this development. The last parcel at 150 Father Morissette Boulevard is within the MBTA overlay district. The applicant intends to allocate parking from the future build if needed. Also, the parking study that we filed with the application indicates that the on-site parking and the public parking located within a 5-minute walk of the site is sufficient for the proposed use and occupancy. There is also on-street parking on Moody Street, Ray Street, and Father Morissette Boulevard. The relief sought by the applicant can be granted without substantial detriment to the public good. The project will assist in meeting state and city affordable housing goals, provide additional green space to the downtown area, and provide updates to the current living conditions. Prior to filing this application, we had several meetings with the city departments and took all the input from them prior to submitting the final plans. We will have to appear before the planning board as well as the historic board. I have with me a petition signed by 61 people within the city. Some of them are residents, some are just city residents, some are people that live at the site. Also, to save everyone from having to listen to all the support that is here tonight, we have asked everyone to sign in to show that they are here to speak or show their support for the project. So if I can give these to you.
Yeah, that'd be
I am
perfect.
going to turn this over to Brendan, who works for Coalition for Better Acre, and he's going to talk about how they plan to relocate the current residents on the site during the construction.
Thank you, Councilor. Yeah, sure, you can bring it up. Yeah. Awesome, thank you. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. My name is Brendan. I'm the project manager at Coalition for a Better Acre, and I'm here tonight on behalf of our team, and more importantly, the residents at North Canal, many of whom are here tonight to show their support for the redevelopment project and this community's future. In the 1980s, residents at North Canal were living in deteriorating conditions when they learned that a developer planned to demolish the property, forcing them from their homes to make way for new construction. Instead of accepting displacement, the residents, with the support of CBA, organized for 5 years to fight for control of their future. And in 1989, they closed on the property themselves, preserving 267 units of affordable housing. It was the first time in history that residents purchased an expiring HUD property, setting a precedent for resident-led preservation across the country. That day in 1989, CBA's founder, Charlie Gargiulo, said, "There are a number of other communities throughout the state in this country that need this kind of effort. And the message we need to send to those people is that this can't be done unless the tenants themselves and the people themselves in that community have control over their destiny." These are sentiments that remain true today. Since that time, CBA, with the leadership of our property management partner, Maloney Properties, has worked to maintain the North Canal properties to the best of our ability. But these buildings, constructed in the 1960s during urban renewal, were built with poor design and materials and have not stood the test of time, limiting what we can achieve for the residents' quality of life. For the past 3 years, in partnership with the North Canal Tenant Council and the residents themselves, we've explored every possible path for this site. Together, we have concluded that the best way forward is a phased, full redevelopment of North Canal that preserves affordability while dramatically improving living conditions. This project will improve handicap accessibility, enhance indoor air quality, expand access to laundry facilities, activate green spaces for community use, and above all, create homes that match the dignity and resilience of the residents who fought to save North Canal nearly 40 years ago. We bring this proposal forward at a time when Massachusetts has set ambitious goals to address the housing shortage, goals that the city of Lowell shares. This redevelopment directly aligns with those goals by adding critically needed affordable housing while preserving and improving an existing community that residents have built and protected for decades. This is revitalization without displacement, designed and shaped by the residents themselves. It embodies the same spirit that saved North Canal decades ago, that residents know what is best for their community when given the resources and voice to shape it. On behalf of CBA and the families who call North Canal home, I respectfully ask for your support to move this redevelopment forward, ensuring that North Canal remains a vibrant, affordable community for the next generation of Lowell. Thank you for your consideration. I'll turn it over to the design team.
Thank you, sir, for your comments. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. For the record, Brian Goodrow with Hancock Associates. We're the land surveyors, civil engineers, and wetland scientists on this project. So I just want to just reiterate something that Attorney Flood said, is that we've met with the city a number of times before we came here this evening. So we've met with DPW, we've met with the fire department, we've met with the Lowell Regional Wastewater Utility and the stormwater team, and we did receive the comment letter, and I'll get to that after I kind of go through the site. So this is parcel 1, bounded by Father Morset at the top of the page, Moody Street on the bottom of the page, and then Aiken and James Street on the east and west sides. So topographically, Moody Street is around elevation 96, and Father Morset is elevation 91. So the whole site slopes from the bottom of the page to the top. And what we've done is we've created the building, which has 100 units within it, and then there's a horseshoe-shaped parking lot. And one of the critical components to why it looks the way that it does is the conversation with the fire department, making sure that they could bring the apparatus into the site. This is 100 units of senior housing. We all know that first responders tend to frequent these places a little bit more than other housing developments, and we wanted to make sure that there was appropriate access for it. So that's why we have a horseshoe shape there. So Attorney Flood also mentioned that we have 70 parking spaces on this site, with 204 being required. The variance is why we're before you this evening. So site grading, we're essentially matching the existing site that's out there right now. So we're coming into the site from Moody Street, from that higher elevation. We're pitching stormwater away from the right-of-way. We're collecting it with catch basins and underground stormwater infiltration. So there's a large infiltration galley just to the north of the common space, the green space in the center of the parking area. And then all of that eventually flows over to the left-hand side of the page to James Street. And one of the critical pieces to our stormwater design was understanding where the storm sewer was, where sanitary sewer was, and where the combined system are. This is a unique portion of Lowell. Some of the utilities is combined, so stormwater and sanitary are together. Some of it's been separated. So we worked with Lowell Regional Wastewater Utility to identify the stormwater lines and tie into those particular pipes. And then eventually all of that stormwater is discharged in the Merrimack River. So that's stormwater. We have our sanitary that's connected into Father Morset. We have ample water that's out here. The building will be fully sprinkled. We discussed hydrant locations and FDC locations with the fire department, and everything that we're proposing kind of meets what they were looking for. And that would be parcel 1. If we could shift to the next slide. So parcel 2, this is a little bit further down Moody Street, closer here to City Hall. So Moody Street's on the bottom side, Father Morset on the north, and then the site is bounded by the canal on the eastern side, and then Race Street on the west. So this L-shaped parking lot, you have an underground parking garage. So the first story of the building, if you will, is parking. There'll be a little bit of amenity space and offices, and then housing above that. So we're really getting the majority of the parking on this site from that parking garage. There are, I believe, 6 spaces outside of the building footprint, but the footprint is what allows us to park the 47. And then the balance of the site is green space, it's open space. And our landscape architect will follow me and describe kind of the amenities that are being proposed. So this site is not unlike Parcel 1, where Moody Street's up higher, Father Morissette's down lower. So topographically, the site kind of grades from the bottom of the page to the top of the page. We are collecting all our stormwater on this site, again, through roof drains and catch basins, to a series of underground infiltration chambers. And then on Moody Street and Ray Street, there's actually a new storm sewer line that crosses Father Morissette and discharges to the Merrimack River. So we had kind of coordinated that with Lowell Regional Wastewater and engineering as well. So that was our stormwater. Sewer, again, connects into Moody Street. We have suitable water. There are hydrants in this location. Again, went over all of those details with the fire department, and they were relatively satisfied with our concerns. So engineering-wise, that covers the 2 parcels, and I'd like to turn it over to our landscape architect to talk about the open space programming.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, everyone. Terry Kinsler with Offshoots. We're the landscape architects on the site on the project. Can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah. Excellent. Thank you. So, as was described, there is a central green space around with parking surrounding the site. The green space is going to be more of a hangout location for residents here, as well as people across the street that are part of the CBA team and family. The building to the far right that is running up and down on the page, there's an amenity space that's going to be more privatized for the residents there. And then if you look to follow it around, there's a fitness area and small dog park, and then community garden, all things that would be very advantageous for the residents here. There's a significant number of trees that are being proposed on the site. We're doing our best to preserve as many of the canopy as we can. Due to development, some of those trees do have to leave, but we're trying to protect and replace trees in kind. The idea is that you plant fast-growing trees early with long-term growth trees to come. So in 50 years, the site would be much different, high canopy, and preserve heat island effects. If you go to site 2, so we're really trying to capitalize the kind of existing beautiful nature of the canal. So our building is oriented further away from it. This opens up more green space along the canal and acts more of a thoroughfare for pedestrians to walk past the canal and enjoy lawn space that can work as a U8 soccer field, a playground for residents, an amenity space off of the building for patio and hangout zone there. And then I should have mentioned we're predominantly a native planting design firm, so I can almost guarantee at least 90% of the plants will be native plants for this area. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your comments. Good evening.
Hi, Gabby Aitchison with Icon Architecture, architect team, project manager. So I'm going to go through the building plans and 3D visualization. If you can go to the next slide. So this shows the ground floor plan as well as the typical floor plans of 2 through 4 for site 1. On site 1, we have a lot of site space, so we were able to put the parking on site. We were able to utilize the most efficient form for the units in a bar building with a double loaded corridor, but the site really lent itself well to an L shape. We wanted to be able to activate both the Father Morissette Boulevard as well as Aiken Street. So we pulled out the amenity spaces into its own one-story building. That's the purple portion that Terry also mentioned. So the residential entry is further into the site, but really clear from Moody Street because there's a large signage, there's a big canopy, there's also a really large drop-off area, as you can see in this parking layout. With these separated bars, so we essentially have 3 bars in succession. These were deliberately pulled apart so that we have really distinct spaces in between for the seniors to have small social gathering spaces. The laundry is decentralized, so that's another opportunity for them to socialize. There's daylighting within the corridors, so they can really engage with one another. On the ground floor, directly adjacent to the amenity space, is a lot of back of house, the mechanical systems, et cetera. That means that there's no units directly adjacent to the amenity space. It also means that there's plenty of room for trash to be collected inside of the building. So the only time that the trash would be brought out is for pickup. There's no enclosure outside of the building. If you go to the next slide. Moving on to site 2, we did employ the L shape here from the ground floor through the entire building because this is a much more compact site. This one is focused on families, so we had a more centralized gathering space on the lobby at the ground floor. We didn't decentralize the elevators. We had to put the parking below the building because of site constraints, as Brian had mentioned. And then the floors from 2 through 5 stack. You can see there's a variety of unit sizes, but they do stack floor to floor. And there is, again, a trash area that stacks, so that's collected on the ground floor and then isn't brought outside until it's picked up. Because we're entering the parking area not off of Moody Street, that means that the main entry to the building off of Moody Street is really pedestrian-centered, really able to activate the little plazas on either end and make that open space more utilized. You can go to the next slide. So these are views of our proposal. So this is from Moody Street, looking at Site 1. So you can see how prominent that entry area is. We've recessed that area of the building. There's a bold color. It's meant to be inviting, and it really distinct. If you go to the next one, we're moving further down Moody Street. So now we're at the corner of Moody and Aiken, and that's where you see that one-story amenity area. It's meant to be an extension of the residential area, so same language, but still very distinct. And inviting the little plaza at that corner, and the landscape will really activate that area. Go to the next one. If we move up Aiken to the corner of Father Morissette Boulevard, you can see how those two masses start to come together. And you can see how those 3 different distinct bars help to break down that massing, as well as the undulation in the parapet at the roof. You go to the next slide. This is further west, but looking east. So you can see the relationship with the larger contest and how the height fits in with the rest of the neighborhood and relationship to the canal, as well as Site 2 in the distance. I turn it back to Catherine.
Thank you, ma'am, for your comments.
I think we have presented the entire project, so we can move forward now.
Okay, thank you, Counselor. All right, we'll open hearing to the public. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this petition? In opposition? All right, seeing none, that portion of public hearing is closed. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of this petition?
Buenas noches.
Good evening, sir.
Ella me va a traducir.
Yeah. Good evening, ma'am.
Translating for her.
Yeah, that's fine.
Me llamo Jaime Alcántaro y vivo en el 166 Faden Morris Boulevard, aquí en Lowell. Soy presidente del Consejo de Inquilinos de North Canal y miembro de la Junta Directiva de la Coalición para un Acre Mejor. CBA ha trabajado con los inquilinos y el Consejo de Inquilinos ha mantenido numerosas reuniones con el Consejo y los inquilinos para conocer nuestras opiniones sobre lo que queríamos para el proyecto. Los residentes están contentos de que Maloney, quien mantiene la propiedad de North Canal, la haya administrado lo mejor posible, pero la propiedad necesita una nueva vida. La condición actualmente está mal. Edificios internos y externos, antiguos, mala calidad de aire, control de temperatura, deficiente accesibilidad, deficiencia sin suficiente lavandería, falta de espacios comunitarios y de reunión. El Consejo de Inquilinos se ha reunido con la CBA y el equipo del proyecto de varias ocasiones para analizar sus comentarios, los cuales se tuvieron en cuenta y se implementaron en el diseño, como la accesibilidad, el estacionamiento, el acceso a la lavandería y los diversos espacios comunitarios y de servicio. Nos encanta el nuevo diseño que ofrece a los inquilinos. Dignidad para los residentes a través de viviendas de calidad diseñadas en base de las opciones de los residentes. En nombre de los inquilinos apoyamos el proyecto y la solicitud de cesión y les solicitamos que la aprueben y apoyen a los inquilinos de North Canal. Gracias. Buenas noches.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, my name is Dolores, but I will say exactly what he said in English. Hi, my name is Jaime Acalino. I live at 166 Father Morissette Boulevard here in Lowell. I am the president of the North Canal Tenant Council, and I'm a member of the board of the directory of Coalition for Better Acre. CBA has worked closely with the tenants and the tenants' councils. They have held many meetings with the councils and attended to get our inputs on what we want for the project. The residents are glad with Maloney, who maintains the North Canal properties, has managed it as best as they can, but the property needs a new life. The existing conditions are old interior and exterior buildings, poor air quality, poor temperature control, poor accessibility to laundry, extremely lack of community and gathering spaces. The Tenant Council has met with CBA and the project team on the numbers of occasions to discuss the feedbacks which was heard and implemented in the designs, such as accessibilities, parking, laundry accessibilities, and variety, community, and amenity spaces. We really like the new designs to offer the tenants dignity for their residents through quality housing shaping by residents' input. On behalf of the tenants, we support the project and the application and would ask you to approve and support the tenants of North Canal. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this petition? And we know we have a bunch of people here in support as well, so thank you for being here. All right, we'll open up the hearing to the board for questions and comments. Chair recognizes the Vice Chairman, Mr. Callahan. Do you have any comments, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I like the design. Looks great, and yeah, I think this seems for the residents, who are here in support. I mean, there's a lot of people here. I think this would be a great. This seems like a very great repurposing and rebuilding of that area. So, I guess one question I had, with regards to the senior restricted affordable units. So, how does that work? Is there like a senior? Is like some sort of management on the property or something, or is it just basically people renting, just renting to seniors? I guess is it senior housing for like, not like a nursing home, but affordable senior housing for I think you follow what I'm trying to.
Yes,
Yeah.
So the property will have both an affordability restriction as well as an age restriction.
Yep.
It will also incorporate on-site supportive services.
That's what I'm,
focused
that's.
on seniors.
Yeah, that's, I guess that's kind of where I was getting at.
And
as
in
far
that
as-
amenity space on the ground floor of the senior building will also be office space for both property management staff as well as the supportive services.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of where I was getting at. It just said amenities, so I was a little.
Awesome.
I didn't know that where things will be stationed. So, but yeah, I mean, I just like I like the design. I like the way it's laid out. I love the setups for the courtyards and everything for everybody to, for people to be, and you're only looking for parking, which, I mean, looking at the comments and the traffic study that was provided indicates adequate amounts of parking for this this area and this facility. I guess the one question I do have as far as the 150, I know it's not in front of us, but do you have an idea of the plans of 150, what's going on with 150 Father Morissette? Like what's in the works for that? I understand it's going to be under the MBTA Communities Act, and I know there's been some hubbub about the parking with regards to that as well, but I just guess I kind of just ballpark view, like what's planned, what's in the works for that?
Yeah, so I'll first kind of talk about what the overlay would allow and what we're anticipating will be coming.
Yep.
So the overlay would allow us to build, I think it's about 1,000 units on that site with no parking. That's not what we're planning on doing.
Okay.
We're expecting somewhere around 400 to 430 units on that site with, I think it was over 200 parking spaces to accommodate for both that site as well as the adjacent one at 281 Moody Street.
Yeah, I just figured I'd want to get that out there as far as, I know there's been some concern about the MBTA overlay communities thing with the parking, especially with the project going on over on Gorham Street at the end of the canal, and there's been a little bit of hubbub about that. But I understand that's in the works for you guys, and I just figured to get a general view of what is the vision for that. I guess we'll see what happens with that. But that would be out of our purview anyways regarding that anyway. So, yeah, I would be supportive of the project. I think it looks great, and I wish you the best of luck. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. The chair recognizes Mr. Hovey. Mr. Hovey, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate the presentation, the amount of detail provided to us. I think the area needs a facelift. This provides that to benefit to the community already there, as well as expanding that to community members outside of it that maybe could take advantage of this. So parking is going to be an issue. I know we mentioned Moody Street and Father Morissette as some parking relief, but those are metered spots. Those are 2-hour parking. So it would be good for visitors, but not residents. I do appreciate that you said there's 90 in the lot of phase 1, and there's only, you say 60 some odd cars there now? Was that the numbers?
Yeah, I think we have 55 now.
55,
Yeah.
right. So we're adding 10 units, and you're adding more parking. So if you just went by numbers, then you're not gonna, we're doing 70 at that spot now, so you're not gonna hit the number. So I do appreciate the detail. I think it's much needed. CBAA does great work for the community members. I'm all in favor of this. Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Hovey. The chair recognizes Mr. Shanahan. Mr. Shanahan, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It just seems like a magnificent project as far as the scope of it, and hopefully brings that area into the 21st century. So I look forward to the finished product a few years from now. It sounds exciting, so best of luck.
We're happy to be in the 21st century.
Thank you, Mr. Shanahan. Chair recognizes Mr. Prokop. Mr. Prokop, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Great admiration for this project. It was well researched, and I like the fact that the developers worked with the community to ensure that it's palatable for the area. And I like the fact that the project team ask you if you're going to put some community grills. I mean, out of the big project that's here, the one question is, are you going to put community grills in the plaza spaces?
Community what?
Grills.
Grills. Oh. Yeah, that, I think we'll have to leave that up to the property managers, but we will do what we can.
No, but the design is magnificent. I can only admire, the amount of care that that's put into this project. And as Member Hovey said, I mean, parking is an issue, but that's an issue no matter where you are. So just the fact that you are bringing this forward and beautifying that area, it only enhances the city in itself. So I'll be voting in favor. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Prokop. Chair recognizes Mr. Brier. Mr. Brier, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I want to offer my congratulations. This is a crowning achievement, something desperately needed, truly affordable housing, a deep interest of mine. What you've managed to do is add another piece to the revitalization that's occurring in that entire neighborhood, the old Little Canada. Well, I think you've achieved that, certainly have. And I want to speak to the words that rang true to me that were offered by the president of the tenant council. And he spoke about the dignity of this housing. And that is so important. We're all deserving of dignity. In the days of the old project-style housing, for those of us with lower incomes and in need of affordable housing, they're gone. And you can see that that's occurred in that entire neighborhood where all the new construction, you drive by them, you'd never know if those were high-priced market-level rents or affordable housing. And there's a good reason for it, because people have finally woken up to the idea that we're all entitled to the same dignity, regardless of our income level. And what you've proposed here is wonderful. And I will be voting in favor, certainly. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brier. The chair recognizes Mr. McCarthy. Mr. McCarthy, the floor is yours, sir.
It's hard to follow Mark. He's pretty well spoken there. But this is an amazing project, and to say this is affordable housing, wow! I don't think affordable housing has ever looked this good and been done this well anywhere, not just in the city of Lowell. Amazing, absolutely amazing. I'm blown away by the landscaping, of course. The architecture is so well done. The inclusion of the canal, and trying to get the green space to work, hiding the parking under the building, in affordable housing. Unbelievable. It's a milestone. I think it'll put us on the map not only for the type of housing that you're doing, but the way it's done. I think anywhere. It's absolutely stupendous. I do want to ask about the transportation comments. Item 4, it asks about should be included in any condition of approval, and it's about 4 different items that seem to be off-site concerns. So I was thinking that we would make the condition of approval to include the transportation comments number 4, those 4 items, if that makes sense.
I think are you referring to like the sidewalks and?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we can do that. That's not an
Okay.
issue.
Okay. Great. And then the last one is the wastewater comments. I thought it was explained pretty well, but then when I read in here, it seems as though there's a missing piece there. I don't know if you could just kind of address what the wastewater comments are referring to and if that's resolved.
Yep. So the wastewater comments cites a state regulation that if you're introducing 15,000 gallons per day of new flow, you have to remove a 4-to-1 ratio. So you'd have to remove four times that 15, so 60,000 gallons per day that go to Duck Island. Right now, we're not hitting that threshold. So back when we had spoken with wastewater, parcel 1 was included. That was the few hundred units of additional. At that point in time, we'll be looking to cross that 15,000 gallon per day threshold, but right now we don't do that. So that's a piece that's going to be coming in the future. And there are different ways that we discuss mitigating that. One's financial, so you pay X amount of money for infrastructure improvements, for I&I, things like that. You can actually propose and take over portions of identified work to improve the wastewater collection. I mean, as you know, Duck Island's going through many million-dollar renovation over the next 10, 20, 30 years. So this is just another piece of that. But as of right now, with parcels 1 and 2, that we don't hit the threshold.
So that's in the works, and you're resolving it down the road when you get further along in the process?
Correct.
Okay. All right. When is it going to be built? What is the schedule for construction?
So we have to completely finish the financing and funding applications and get invited into the next round, but we're anticipating sometime in the early 2028 stage for shovels in the ground on this.
And it's a 2-year construction or 3-year construction?
So we're anticipating doing one site at a time. So the first site we'll do is at 463 Moody Street, Site 1. That will start in 2028, and we're expecting somewhere between 18 to 24 months for construction. And we're also hoping that we can kind of layer and stagger the construction where when we close out one phase, we're moving on to the next one with shovels in the ground.
Okay, so maybe a 5-year timeline for the whole project to be complete?
For these two, probably, yeah.
Okay. All right, don't change anything.
We'll try not to.
Okay, I love it. I love it. Thank you. It's just that one condition I have. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. Just like my colleagues, I think this is a great project. CBA does amazing work, so I'd be in support as well. All right, for conditions, we have 1, and you're okay with that, Counselor? Okay. All right, if there's no further comments, we have a motion, please.
3, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for ZBA 2025-56 for variance at 463 and 281 Moody Street. And the variance is for on-site parking with the condition that we incorporate the item number 4 of the traffic engineer comments, those 4 items to be a condition.
All right. Motion by Mr. McCarthy. Second by Mr. Briere. Can we have a roll call, please?
Chairman Peck,
Approve condition.
Vice Chair Callahan,
Approve with conditions.
Member McCarthy,
Approve with condition.
Member Briere,
Approval.
Member Procope,
Approve with conditions.
Member Shanahan,
Approved.
Member Hovey,
Approve.
All right, you've been approved. Wish you best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, folks. Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. You did great. Appreciate it. Yeah, good job. Thank you, guys.
Nice to meet you.
Have a good evening. Thank you. Have a good night. Have a good night. Have a good evening. Okay, we do have one, going back, we're tabling one item, the continued business, ZBA-2025-41, the applicant at Wood Street. They're not here, are they? Or- Okay.
Yes.
They're here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Good evening. Do you want to just update us about your project?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
But you can just tell me.
Yes. My name is Pham. So I was there last time. So they want me to update the special purpose, and I already put a sign up like 3 weeks ago. So that's why I'm here today. Yeah. For the microblading, I want to rent a room in Wood
Ma'am,
Street.
can you speak closer to the mic? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Or can we put the volume up, or can you put your volume up? We'll put our volume up. Everything will be louder.
Yeah. So I want to have a microblading to rent the space in the hair salon. And last time, so I missed the special.
Yeah. So do you want to just update us about what you've been doing since the last time we met last year? Like any updates? Oh, I think you're on mute, ma'am. We don't hear you.
Yeah, the special permit, so they asked for last time. I haven't done, so I already done 3 weeks ago, and I already put a sign up the street. Yeah.
Okay, so the sign was put up?
The special permit?
Yeah.
No, I think they can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay.
I think you guys are muted on your end because we can't hear through the Zoom call.
Oh, you can't hear me talking right now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. It's a little bit of technical difficulty here. Okay, so you could hear us now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Could you just identify yourself, and then can you just said what you said a minute ago?
Yes.
The applicant.
Yes. Yeah, my name is Tuấn Pham, and I want to have a microblading inside the hair salon in number 12 Wood Street. And so last time I go to the hearing, but they say I didn't do the special permit. I know already done it. I already put the sign up like 3 weeks ago. So that's why I'm here today to see what happened next. So.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
So you
Thank
put the physical sign up. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. All right.
Yeah,
Anything else you want to say?
No.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah,
All right, we'll open up the hearing to the public. Anyone wish to speak in opposition? In opposition? Seeing none, that portion of the public hearing is closed. Anyone wish to speak in favor? In favor? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. All right, we're going to open questions and comments from the board. The chair recognizes Mr. Hovey. The floor is yours, sir.
Thanks. I have no questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hovey. The chair recognizes Mr. Shanahan. Mr. Shanahan, the floor is yours, sir.
No questions, no comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Mr. Proko. Mr. Proko, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also have not much to say, but the only outstanding item we had was this: there was no notification. But I believe that we thought, well, at least I thought from a zoning perspective that there wouldn't be an issue. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Proko. Chair recognizes Mr. Breer. Mr. Breer, the floor is yours, sir. Thank you, Mr. Breer. Chair recognizes Mr. McCarthy. Mr. McCarthy, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank the applicant for your patience for getting through this process. I know that it's been a little bit long for a special permit, and the relief being sought is relatively minor. And I'm glad you stuck with it, because I'm sure this is going to be a successful addition to your business, and I look forward to seeing this come to fruition. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. The chair recognizes the Vice Chairman, Mr. Callahan. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chairman. I really have no concerns about the request itself. Housekeeping, though. I just noticed that the application was not signed by the applicant. So I guess can we
Well,
just
condition,
condition that,
yeah.
that the applicant at least come in and sign the application, so that way we just want to make sure everything's totally on board. And,
I have to go
yeah,
inside. Oh,
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You signed it? I don't see it signed. It's not signed.
No, she was just asking if she had to go like there to sign it, like anytime.
You can come into our office at any time.
Okay,
City Hall's
thank you.
open and do
Yeah,
that.
you just have to just go to City Hall, the Department of Planning and Development. Oh, actually, you have you guys moved yet, or are you still at City? You're still
Oh, no, we're still right across the hall.
okay. Yep. I know. Heading over to
Yeah,
Market
that's
Street, right?
another story.
Yep. So just come in. You just got to come to City Hall at some point and go to the Department of Planning and Development and sign the application, and just so everything's clear on that. But other than that condition, I see no issues with this. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Callahan. Yeah, straightforward. Thank you for putting up the sign that we talked about last time. Sorry, you were the last one on the docket. I know the last one was kind of long, and so thank you for your patience. Yeah, I don't have any concerns. Wish you the best of luck. If there's no further comments, if we could have a motion, please, with that condition.
3, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for ZBA 2025-41 for a special permit at 12 Wood Street to be providing micro planning within a distance of 500 feet from a residential neighborhood, with the condition that the applicant come in and complete the application by signing it.
All right, motion by Mr. McCarthy.
Second.
Second by the Vice Chairman. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. The ayes are unanimous. You are approved, ma'am. Thank you, and best of luck with your business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and have a good night. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, moving on to the next item on the agenda. We have other business. So we have another business. We have to appoint a member of the ZBA to the Zoning Rights Steering Committee. Ms. Brundage, do you want to talk a little bit about that so the public is aware and we're aware as well?
Yeah, we are in the process of doing a zoning rewrite of the zoning ordinance. We hired a consultant back in the fall time frame, and now we're looking to put together a committee that consists of representatives from the zoning board, planning board, and other city departments. And so we're just looking for an appointment from the zoning board at this time.
Perfect. All right, let's talk amongst my colleagues here. Anyone interested in joining this the steering committee here?
I would not mind. I was part of the last one, but if someone else wants to step up, I'm absolutely willing to support them. So,
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Prokop, go ahead, sir.
is this a nomination process? Because I'd like to nominate Mr. McCarthy.
We can. I think let's talk about who would like to be on the board, and then maybe from that pool of people, maybe there's all 6 of us, 7 of us wants to be it, or maybe just 1 of us, maybe 2 of us. So I just want to talk about that first. But yeah, we can go to nominations in a minute. So.
and I just want to ask, do you know when the committee meets? So they haven't arrived at a.
No, it's still in the, initiate.
Because the last one met at an odd time. So I think, ideally it would meet, in the time when people are not working.
Right,
So.
correct.
Not at lunchtime at noon or something on a Wednesday. Anyone interested?
Mr. Chairman, I'll throw my hat in the ring.
Yeah,
I'll be
okay.
interested
Well,
in serving and assisting the board in that. But certainly, if anybody else is interested as well, I'd be open to, to supporting whoever's going to be on the board for this would be a great representative. We have 7 great candidates to well, not seven, seven, right? Great candidates to the, but I'll express my, no,
Yeah, no, of course.
to assist. And I know Member McCarthy has done a great job in with the Master Plan Committee in the past as well, so, but any of the members who are expressing interest, I'm certainly would be a great contributor to the board, so.
Agreed. Thank you, Ms. Callahan. All right, anyone else interested in joining the steering committee here? All right, seeing none, now we can go to nominations. So I heard one nomination, right? Anyone else wants to nominate anybody else?
Yeah, I'll nominate Mr. Callahan.
Okay.
Based on his self-promotion.
All right. Motion to nominate by Mr.
Mr. Chairman, before
Yeah.
we continue,
Mr. Breer, go ahead,
a
sir.
point of order.
Yeah.
Are we being asked to nominate someone, or being asked to present names forward for someone in the city administration to appoint?
That's a good question.
It was my understanding that this group would get together, and whomever was interested in serving in such a capacity would make that known to the city administration, and from there, a member would be chosen.
Okay.
It could be mistaken, but I don't think that
I
this
could
requires a vote by this board.
Okay. We could, I could ask for clarification, and then we could bring it up at the next meeting.
If I'm wrong, don't bring it up next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just trying to clarify, is that, so what Member Briere is saying is that we appoint someone, then the city decides who's going to join the committee? Is that how it goes? I thought it was, we appoint, I know planning board appointed somebody, so planning board appoints somebody, we appoint somebody, and that's part of the
That was my
committee.
thought process, but, again.
That's my
I'm
understanding,
not-
that was my understanding of it.
I'd rather have clarification before,
But we got a memo, Peter send us a memo or something? It
Yeah,
was-
there was a memo that was sent. I'm not sure if it really explains that either, but,
I thought it just said that a member of this board would be represented, but there was nothing indicating how that member would be determined.
right, yeah.
And I also would like to just add that I think it might be possible for more than one member to be part of that steering committee also.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah,
if more
I
than one
would-
member
wouldn't see why
is
you wouldn't
interested, I
want,
think that'd be
couldn't
possible.
have more than,
I guess that, yeah, maybe we do need some clarification, because to Member McCarthy's point, maybe it's one member from the ZBA, but then a volunteer, like another member could be as part of a, volunteer or appointed by the city council or something to that effect, separately from us, so that's fine too, but I mean, I probably was going to suggest to, at this point, that, for these purposes, if anybody wanted to express their interest, and then we probably push this off for a vote next meeting or something, but that was one thing I was contemplating
Yeah,
mentioning.
we can do that. I do know in the last steering committee, I put my hat in there, but Mr. McCarthy got it, so. But that was before. I'm very happy in my role as chairman. I don't need to be on the steering committee.
Whatever works, whatever the board's desire, can do that. Just,
All right, let's say that we want Mr. Callahan as the primary appointed person, and maybe Mr. McCarthy as a secondary, if
sure.
if there's an option for like a proxy or a secondary person or anything like that. All right, perfect. All right, let's go to the minutes for approval for December 8th, 2025. Any edits, comments, revisions from my colleagues for the minutes? All right, seeing none. All right, can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Three, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from December 8th, 2025.
All right, motion by Mr. McCarthy to approve the minutes.
Second.
Second by the Vice Chairman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say nay. The ayes are unanimous. Any other comments before we motion to adjourn? All right, seeing none, can a motion to adjourn, please?
Three, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
All right, motion by Mr. McCarthy to adjourn.
Second.
Second by the Vice Chairman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes are unanimous. Any opposed say nay. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you. Have a good night, folks.